I'm joined by Geni Skendo, and we're going to talk some shakuhachi. We're going to talk about some bells and a bunch of other stuff. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So the first thing that people might know is recognize is that you have an accent. Where are you originally from?
From Albania.
Okay, and what made you come to the States?
I got a scholarship to study at Berklee College of Music.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
And that you were doing flute and jazz, correct?
Yes, yeah, flute and jazz.
And was flute your first instrument?
Yes, since the first grade. I've been playing flute and piano, so.
You started flute in the first grade?
Yeah, with piccolo.
Oh, that's so adorable.
I mean, loud and noisy, but yes. So that's why I cannot stand piccolo now. I like low voices.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah. And then how did you get introduced to the shakuhachi? Because this is a channel all about shakuhachi, and you've written a book of tutorials from Minyo. You have lots of recordings of you playing shakuhachi. How did you get started with this?
So first I heard Shakuhachi movies, a lot of like karate movies or like, a lot of soundtracks. I really like the sound and I actually wanted to find where the sound comes. I'm really attracted by the sound. I like the sound quality, it's so expressive, all the colors.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so also, so yeah, I was attracted to the sound. And when I was in Albania, I couldn't actually afford the Shakuhachi, the sound tour.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come to United States, around 2000, 1 year after I got here, I figured out actually where I can buy a shakuhachi. So I bought a PVC shakuhachi from Ken Lacoste.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's how I started the PVC shakuhachi, and I just, played,
And did you ever do any formal training on shakuhachi?
Oh, yes. So, but, so my training is a lot of self-study and also formal training. I studied with Phil Nokai James in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I studied with him for a while. And then I studied with Michael Chikuzen Gold with Skype lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And also I did some lessons with Kaki Kazai with Skype. Yeah, so that was the formal training, but also what I did, I really tried to play the shakuhachi as much as I could, because the best way is like you have to use, because it's the formal training, but it's also learning the shakuhachi as a musical instrument. There are two different things. Because a lot of people, when they learn the formal training, you're not learning just shakuhachi, you are learning the music, and the music is difficult, it's like, it's a new language. So, you can learn the shakuhachi as a musical instrument, play all your scales, play it in tune, play other music, play your exercises, and then you learn Japanese music. So I focused on both,
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I studied with both Michael and Kaki Zakai, and I got my degree through with Michael. I'm actually curious, how did you like your lessons with Michael?
Oh yeah. So Michael has his own way of teaching shakuhachi. So it's like, I mean, you teach you traditional music and it's great, but as a trained musician who have been to a lot of music schools and I studied a lot of different kind of stuff, almost like that. I found that a little frustrating because it's like you use certain words to describe certain sounds. So it's not really, well, I have to really translate what it meant in musical terms, So
I see what you're saying.
But Kaki Kisagai, in the other term, he was very clear. He said, you do this, you do this, you do this, boom. And I was like, okay. Actually, when I had the first lesson with Kaki Kisagai, it was like, I played and he says, okay, great ideas. He says, but your sound is bad. I'm like, okay, cool. This is what you do. Boom, boom. And my sound changed in the first lesson for like 30%.
Wow, that's really great.
Because, I mean, and he knows, he's been around. So these other teachers, they do their stuff, but they are stuck in their own world, So it's like, but Chikuzen is awesome. He helps a lot of people, he does all this stuff. Yeah, so it's.
Yeah, it's really interesting, though, is that Michael also studied with Katsuya Yokoyama, same with Kaki Zakai.
Yeah,
I believe they were classmates for
Probably.
a short period of time as well.
Yeah.
But it's amazing like how an individual can take shakuhachi and make it sound like them. So like a lot of what you've done. So for people who don't know, what are some of the things that you are doing with shakuhachi that you have done and that you are doing now?
So when I started, basically my approach was to play whatever I wanted to play with shakuhachi, meaning that like I hear something, I want to be able to play it with shakuhachi. So for example, I heard erhu music and I want to play along with that with shakuhachi. I want to play jazz with shakuhachi and I do that, you know. So basically to use that, the instrument, to add that to my musical expression, you know. You know what I mean? It's like for example, some people are composers, they write stuff, but I'm an improviser, so I use the shakuhachi to express myself, certain colors. So, but check this out, what I did when I was in Boston, I also went to England Conservatory. So when I did that, I did my master's in contemporary improvisation with shakuhachi. So I played jazz songs for my, you know, to get there. So jazz, free improv with shakuhachi. So basically a lot of jazz, world music, you know, like funk stuff, you know. Now, I don't know how good they were, you know. So.
Well, you know,
But
it's the thing with experimentation is, you know, some things are gonna be amazing and they're gonna be gold, and other things will not be.
oh, you thought, yeah. So it's like
That's my favorite part about improvisation, though, and I do lots of avant-garde and I do some jazz stuff. I'm really not well versed in jazz to say that I can fake it, but with avant-garde things and classical improvisation or structured improvisation,
yeah.
a lot of times it does end up being really bad, and then we just never talk about that video and that recording, and then we move on. And so you actually play lots of instruments. You have a very nice assortment of flutes. So you have your regular piccolo, your flute, alto flute, bass flute.
Oh, actually, I don't own a piccolo.
Oh, I thought you might have owned a piccolo. Okay.
No. There is no piccolo allowed in my house.
It's complete. You have to leave them at the door. Check it in the box.
Yeah.
And so outside of those instruments and the shakuhachi, what are some other instruments that you play and have in your storage here?
I mean, I have keyboards. I have like 3 keyboards, obviously. Yes. I used to have a African kora.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's kora. But I think it took like 30 minutes to get it in tune, and you get out of tune after 5 minutes. So I said, if I can work on my flute intonation for 30 minutes, I'll become so good. So I gave up the kora. So yeah, and I have guitars, so a little bit. Some more, and lots of drums, frame drums.
And you're also currently in a band right now as well?
Yeah, several bands.
Several bands. And can you tell us about a couple of those?
So the main band that I tour, it's called Mr. Ho's Orchestrotica. It's like a contemporary chamber music / jazz world music that started like a tiki band, but then ended up playing all this crazy composition by the vibraphone player. So that one, I play bass flute, shakuhachi, and C flute, and soon contrabass flute, and it's vibes, percussions, and upright bass. And with this band, we tour all over the world.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah, and I have 2 bands that are kind of the same thing. One is in Boston. It's called Astronauts of Albania. And one is it's music from Albania, and mainly from Albania. But then I'll start, you know, mainly from Albania, and we play a little bit of Balkan music. And so it's like a lot of all-time signatures. Like, and the next one, I made a band here in Birmingham, Alabama, called Astronauts of Alabama. So this one has like it has the Albanian songs plus songs from Macedonia, Bulgaria, Kosovo, Greece, Turkey. There's a lot of Middle Eastern, Balkan stuff. And I put some of the songs with shakuhachi as well. So.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more of that stuff now that I'm learning about, because I knew that you were doing things with Mr. Ho's orchestra. I knew that you were like a full-time member of it. So that's really cool. So I'm going to have to check that out more often. Now, one of the other things that you're very, very big on and I've seen a couple videos of this actually, is musicians' health and the bells.
Yeah, what about, yes.
So let's start with musicians' health, because that's a huge thing for you, and then we'll geek out about the bells, because I love the bell videos.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so I've been practicing music since when I was like, 5, 6 years old. So, and I practicing piano and flute like 3 hours, 4 hours a day. So you get injuries, and you don't feel good. So it's actually that's a workout. So, but in the meanwhile, my father was a lot in the physical culture. So I grew up working out with him. So the physical training, it's really great training to be in shape actually to play music, because when we perform, we're like athletes basically.
Yes.
So you go perform there, same positions, you use certain muscles all the time. You don't, they get hurt, your back hurts, your shoulder hurts, and it's painful being in pain.
Mm-hmm.
You want to play good and you're playing enjoying, and then it hurts. You cannot focus. So and I'm really like I do a lot of training so I can be healthy, so I can do better music. So actually, when I perform, I'm relaxed. I'm not in pain. That's what I want. Also, my musicals are kind of hard. Like if you play the bass flute, it's heavy. So one hand side works harder, the other doesn't. So one time I hurt my back playing bass flute for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So and I mean, actually, like being in shape for a musician is same being in shape as an athlete. So basically, you have to work on your mobility. Make sure your fingers are stretched, but also they are strong. Working on your breathing capacity and cardio, because you need cardio to play your instrument.
Yeah.
Like Shakuhachi is so much cardio, it kills you. So it's and you need energy. You need like good cardio system. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found actually that the more I'm working out and the more healthy I'm staying, the better my diet is, the better I stay in shape, the more I'm working, I have a lot more energy. And most importantly, I have a lot more air to work with the shakuhachi. And that's the biggest complaint for everybody, is it takes so much air to work this instrument. So it is
actually, I mean, yeah, it doesn't, as you know, it's not the air, it's the technique of blowing the air.
Of course, yeah, but that's the
yeah.
thing is,
it takes a lot of air to get to the place where you have to use little air, basically.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So now tell us all about the bells.
Okay, so the bells, those are called the kettlebells, and I really like them, and they are, I always like them. So I always use them wrong, but but the last 2.5 years, I've been investing a lot in learning of them. First, I did 1 year of it's called hardstyle training. It's basically fitness with kettlebells. You do all the exercises with the kettlebells, you become strong. And the second year, I did kettlebell juggling, kettlebell power juggling, and that is with the Russian champion, Shakuhachi. We did it for a year, and I took the first place in the kettlebell competition with that.
Oh, nice.
After that, now I'm doing called kettlebell sport. Kettlebell sport is the classic. It's like classical music, but for kettlebells. So it's like this comes from Russia, and it's like it's been around as a sport since 1886. And this is like it's really tough training. I did it only because I'm curious, but it's like really awesome. And you take the bells and you do some certain exercises for like 10 minutes non-stop. That's the competition. So yeah, it's good. It makes you strong, strengthen your head, because you have to do the same thing for 10 minutes with lots of weight. And, improves your mental focus, your mental energy, your like, F this, I got this, you know what I mean? It makes you tough. So, and you have to be tough when you make music. You know what I mean? When we play, like you have to have the intent, the energy, like, and this sports actually brings it really challenges out of you.
Now, have you always
energy when you play? You know what I mean? When you play, you have to convince people. Like, so the difference between musicians, good or not good or great artists, is like how much they convince you. When Yo-Yo Ma plays, he plays with its sound, the intensity, it gets you, but like it's it's a lot of energy there.
Yeah, he's very sincere as well. I mean, he loves what he does.
Yeah, but even like whatever it can be, you hate what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Or
And
he
yet he
can
can
be
still
like,
convince you. I mean, he can still convince you with sincerity, for sure.
yeah. So it can be anything, you know. But when you play your music, like we need that energy. And these bells actually are good for me for this.
Mm. Now, in terms of the Japanese scope, are there other things that you're interested in Japanese culture?
Ramen. So actually, I started the Japanese thing only because I like the shakuhachi, you know. And people say like, also my wife is Japanese born, but it's not that, you know, just met and we like each other. So it's but I believe the culture is good. I do. I mean, I like Japanese stuff, but from far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I appreciate what they do. They are, but actually, it's like they have a lot of rules. You have to follow this, and I don't like rules very much. You know, so I appreciate what they do. So, for example, when I was in Boston, like I made sure I had a Japanese person in my band, you know, because I could choose. They're so international, you know.
Yeah.
I'd like dangerous Japanese as a piano player because usually they are the people most on top of their like they will show up, they have the charts ready, so the most reliable people which I have, you know. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good. I mean, who doesn't like Japan, you know?
Well, I like
But
ramen as well, so
yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
I can't eat it now because I don't eat carbs. But
What? You go keto?
yeah, I've gone keto.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole yeah, exactly. um, now now obviously so that's your work outside and all the musicians' health, and you've really linked those two things together so nicely, and you have a specific video about stretches and exercises to
Oh yeah.
that I really appreciate that video, and actually it's very it's good, and I think a lot of people should do that. And a lot of the exercises that you were doing were actually ones that were prescribed to me by a chiropractor.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
so
classic stuff, you know, like so basically what I did there, because when I was in pain, like, you know, I was looking for, you know, so I spent so much money learning about this stuff, you know. So there are different approaches to resolve the same stuff.
yeah,
So the idea is you strengthen the muscle and you stretch them lightly, not too much, just enough. So basically make them strong and long, the blood goes there, like simple as that, whatever it takes, you know?
yeah.
And these are, yeah, so all those exercises are basically athletes warm up for different stuff.
The one on all fours where you're pushing forward,
Yeah, yeah.
that's such a great one for strengthening and
Oh, yeah.
flexing the wrist. That's a really good. And shakuhachi players specifically have so many issues with their arms, their forearms, and the tightening of these tendons
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Those are. I think that's
Oh,
something that World Shakuhachi Festival needs to jump on. And
oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, maybe if they want to, yeah.
Yeah, they should. I think that they should have you out to do a course on musicians' health. That would be really good. All those exercises and stuff. That I think.
So during the video, when we shoot the video, after I did the segment, I also did some push-ups with my fingers,
Mhm.
like, you know, to show that actually you can get there, you know, but they cut it because it would have been a bit like too much for them. I think they should have left it, but it's okay. So now I'm gonna do another one about back health.
Okay, that one I will use because I'm a former violinist and violist. So we've got violin players just have so many back problems for holding up in this position constantly. So I'll be watching that and taking notes.
Oh yeah.
So what's next for you? What's your next big project you're working on right now?
Ooh, so usually I'm not really good at big projects.
Mm-hmm.
They just seem to happen. I'm like really spontaneous, and that's a gift and a curse. You know, so I have a lot of ideas, and sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't happen. So, but I don't have any like. So next big thing I have actually is like I'm gonna perform at the Boston Flute Fest in Boston.
Okay.
But this one, when I'm gonna perform, I'm not gonna play shakuhachi. I mean, I could, but basically because I have to generate more work for me doing different stuff. So I'm putting these trio together. I'm gonna play contrabass flute.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna play bass guys. My friend is gonna play guitar, and I have a Tunisian violin player. She's gonna play the melodies.
Oh,
But
nice.
By the way, contrabass flute is like shakuhachi. You play that, and it's like you play in a shakuhachi. It's like, oh, it's like. Have you seen one?
Yeah, I've seen one. I've never tried one though.
Yeah, it's like playing shakuhachi. It's like a big ass shakuhachi, big fella. It's like exactly so.
And the sound is actually fairly similar too. It's got that nice airiness, really hollow, deep core.
Oh yeah, lots of deep core, and dark, like
Yeah.
So that thing is like it's like a big shakuhachi, and actually so when after I play the contrabass flute, when I like the other day I played the 2.4 that I have, and I have them there in the air, and man, I was feeling the thing with air. Like I was like, whoa, okay. So it's so that's the next thing. Also, the next thing I finished transcribing with a friend. What is it? A Bulgarian folk song from Bulgarian voices. So I'm gonna arrange this for flutes, But I'm thinking I can do the top melody part with shakuhachi. So we'll see. I just have to compose it and see how it sounds.
Now, where can people follow you and learn more about you?
My website, genimusic.com.
Okay. And do you have an Instagram?
Yes, genimusic.com. Music. I mean, yeah. So it's like, yeah.
Okay. I'll be sure to. I'm sorry?
When they can follow you.
But they can follow me on my website, but this is about you. So yeah, I'll put all that information down there so people can follow you and stuff. Do you have a Facebook page that they can like as well?
It's called Astronaut of Albania.
Okay. Right. I'm going to try to collect all of your things that you're a part of and put them in the description. And I encourage everybody to follow because you do some really interesting and some really cool stuff. And so, yeah, thank you so much for joining me and hanging out for a little bit. We'll do another one on keto sometime.
My feelings about keto, Okay, sounds good, man.
All right, thanks so much for hanging out.
Go.